All right, Adam, thank you. A new development out of Moscow, Idaho this morning as investigators now backtracking on the original theory that the 4 students that were killed were actually targeted by their murderer.
Yeah, this news comes as thousands gathered last night at a vigil on campus. You see what happened here. Briefly went dark, then the crowd illuminated the dome with their phones. During the service, the victims' parents also addressing the crowd, sharing just a heartbreaking reminder.
Make sure that you spend as much time as possible with those people because time is precious and it's something you can't get back.
Other colleges and satellite campuses in that region also held vigils in support of these students.
Now, Fox 13's AJ Janavel live in Moscow, Idaho this morning. AJ, good morning. You've been following this investigation all week. A lot of people have been hoping for any updates. What do you make of this most recent update from what police told us earlier?
Ryan, let me explain this situation because over the last few days there have been so many new developments that I want to make sure it's clear exactly what has been going on here. This community is still waiting for answers, and anytime an update is released, it is so vital to the people in Moscow. So a couple days ago, the county prosecutor stated that they specifically thought the suspect or suspects targeted the home and one or multiple residents in that home where the incident happened. Now, right before the vigil, police said this was a misstatement and they do not know if anyone was targeted inside that home. But when you go back a few days to a November 23rd press conference right before Thanksgiving, the last official press conference that has happened in this area, the police stated that they were adamantly believing that this home, that one of the residents inside of the home or multiple residents were targeted. They said that they believed this, but when asked why they believed this to be the case, they simply said, you have to trust us. So at this point, we're working to figure out what is exactly going on. Is it still a possibility for investigators that someone in the home was targeted? Is it now something that they have ruled out entirely? I have reached out to the Moscow Police Department just within the last few minutes. I'm waiting to hear back and get more answers, but I think any time information is released in this case, it's so vital to this community because the biggest focus is the person that police are saying is responsible for murdering 4 young adults in their home is still out there. So the people who live here, they want answers as quick as they can get them. Brian, Liz?
That's the question, AJ. I mean, you just said it. There is a possible murder suspect out there right now, and now they're backtracking, police rather, saying that this was not, or maybe not, a targeted attack at this point. We don't know. So what is the experience talking to members of the community, especially now with students going back to class? I mean, people have to be pretty freaked out.
Liz, with Thanksgiving break the previous weekend, a lot of the students just returned to the University of Idaho this week. So yesterday we got a chance to speak to a lot of them before that vigil and just kind of getting an idea of the feeling of this university. It's kind of a different mix across the board. I spoke to one student who says that the university seems quiet, it seems eerie, that there's not as many people on campus. This was a grad student, and they told me they were actually considering not coming back to campus to finish out the remainder of the year. They said they had to come back. But that's an option students had, was to finish the rest of the year online, do online classes. This student telling me it seemed quiet on campus. I got a chance to speak to some other students. These were freshmen back on campus, and they actually said they do feel safer this week because there's such a large police presence on the campus, not just Moscow police, but as well there's state police that are continuing to patrol through the university. And the students that I spoke to yesterday who were freshmen said that this gave them a peace of mind following the last couple weeks of uncertainty. Liz, Brian?
Yeah, and speaking of police, AJ, you know, they've been keeping a lot of information. Of course, they have an investigation that they have to go through. But what is your sense of how this case has evolved, AJ? Are investigators searching for a breakthrough of some kind? Is there any sense of anything moving forward? I mean, what is the very latest in terms of finding those answers?
So I want to just talk about the scale of this investigation. You have the Moscow Police Department, who is essentially all hands on deck with nearly 24 officials working this case. But there is also assistance from the state police who also have about 24 people helping in this investigation, as well as those local agencies. There's nearly 40 plus FBI officials who are working this case. So the scale of the investigation is huge for a situation like this. Now, you're asking about the actual investigation, what is coming out that's new. The newest details that we have found out is what we mentioned earlier. The uncertainty now is if this was a targeted attack, if any of the individuals inside the home were targeted, if the house was targeted. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest things to try to confirm if that's still a belief, if that is still something that's on the table, or if that has been ruled out entirely. But just a few days ago, law enforcement put out a statement saying if you've seen anything odd or out of the normal, to contact them, which is an interesting way to kind of state looking for information, to say, quote, odd or out of the normal. Police are still asking this community if they have any information to reach out to them. There are flyers throughout the town. There are flyers posted on some of the apartments near where these murders happen. There's flyers on campus essentially saying, if you have any information, please reach out to us. Reporters have asked the investigators for more information to kind of let us behind the curtain to see what's going on. Understandably, police are saying they want to keep a lot of the information close to the chest, which makes sense if they do have some leads and don't want to scare away any suspects. But when you do have this confusion about if this is still a targeted attack, when police just a couple of days ago said, trust us when we say we do believe this is a target attack, and now it's a question, I think it leaves a lot of questions to this entire community. Brian, Liz?
Question.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, AJ, appreciate you being out there in Idaho for us. We know that we have a lot of viewers following this very closely, so appreciate you. And as we get more information, we will bring that to you on air and online. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Thanks, AJ.